These cones, as I was moving them from one spot to the other, they came off a little bit too easily. The friction keeps the panel in place while I'm maybe cross-cutting. Again, maybe I'm gonna route a really, really big panel. That stays exactly where it's supposed to be.
Hey, what's happening? Barnaby here. So you want to know more about the Rockler cookies? Well, I can tell you that it's actually, you got risers, cones, and sawhorse clips. And then these guys right here, Matt's going to tell us what these are for in just a second, and also a storage rack. And so we put these into your Matt's Basement Workshop.
Yep.
And you use them for all sorts of different stuff. We'd love to know what they're good for, right, in your estimation. But specifically, we're going to be bearing down on the performance of them, the design, the quality, and then the value proposition. Is it worth spending the money on for what it gets you in the world of woodworking?
Right.
So, leads me into my introduction right here. What are you known for in woodworking?
Well, I am considered to be the very first podcaster, woodworking podcaster on the internet. And I'm known for that because I am. I started it back in 2006.
Yep.
And it's been going strong ever since. I have a lot of fun with it. I'm a hobby woodworker. I've got a nice little basement workshop.
Sure.
I love sharing my projects and talking about techniques, learning from other people, all that good stuff. It's a great online experience.
So as you are the elder statesman of woodworking podcasts, do you color your beard gray just to seem like you have the years behind it?
I can't really talk about that. It's a trade secret, actually.
Okay. Well, let's talk about cookies and what they're good for.
Okay. The Rockler bench cookies, they've been out for a while now. They've made a couple of changes, but they perform exactly as I expect them to. I use them in a wide variety of projects. Mainly, I use them with my router because when I set these things out on my workbench, they hold the pieces really nice to the surface. There's these friction pads on them, hold it really snug so it's not going all over the place. So performance-wise, they do exactly what I expect them to.
So instead of having to clamp it down.
Exactly. I don't have to put down a special little mat that holds everything in place. They do, and the other nice thing is to get it up off the surface a little bit.
Okay. Now let's say that you want to be using, like, say, a jigsaw.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Now,
in that case, I need to actually, I can do one of two things. I can either have a few extra ones and stack them up as we have them right here.
Right.
Or they have these nice riser things, and I've been using these quite a bit. They just attach in here into this insert, and they, as I discovered just recently, you put them in place, and then now they're high enough that when you cut with your jigsaw, the blade is exposed all the way to the bottom, but it's not touching your work surface.
Okay, so performance-wise, did it provide a stable platform?
Yes, it did. It's very stable. I was kind of thinking it wasn't going to. It looked like it was going to tip over, but they did. As soon as I pushed down, they actually stayed right where they're supposed to.
Right, because you have probably 4 of them, so it's more stable. Like
exactly.
Okay, so on into the world of cones, how do they perform?
They did exactly what I expected them to. Oftentimes when I'm finishing, I want to do both sides, so what I'll end up doing is finishing one side, and then the neat thing is these work really well that I can put it in place, I can put the board on there, and they're going to not be touching the surface, so I don't have to worry about it messing it up.
Yep.
They worked fantastic, did exactly what I wanted them to.
Okay, and then the sawhorse clips right here?
Yep, they go right into place. In fact, these ones I was really excited to see because whenever I need like I have a big panel I'm cutting or something,
sure,
I can break out my sawhorses, and if this was the support piece in the middle, they go right in place. And the nice thing about this is that the friction keeps the panel in place while I'm maybe cross-cutting, which I've done in the past, some really big panels, or again, maybe I'm going to route a really, really big panel. That stays exactly where it's supposed to be.
Stay and put is what they do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's talk about the design of it, because I mean, they're pretty simple, right?
Right.
But is there anything about them that you liked or didn't like?
The simple is about that's the best way to describe it. They're just a little puck. Friction pads work great. In fact, when they get gunked up, they clean out really easily. There's not really too much about it I don't like. When it comes to the accessories, these little riser ones, the only thing I didn't like about these is the surface is really smooth. And when they're really snug after you've been using them, it's hard to get these to loosen up.
Right.
So you end up grabbing a pair of pliers, but they come right off, no damage or anything. So that's the only thing I didn't like. These cones, one time when I was using them, actually a couple of times when I was using them, as I was moving them from one spot to the other, they came off a little bit too easily. This one's staying kind of snug, but...
So you want to pronounce snap?
Yes, I do. A snap would be really nice.
Yeah. I mean, it holds, but like you say, it's not a snap.
Yeah, exactly. And the way that I work in there, oftentimes I'm kind of flipping things this way and that way, and they've come off.
Okay. Anything to talk about here on the sawhorse clips?
No, these work great. They are really snug.
Oh, there's a snap.
There is a snap there. Actually, if you listen very carefully, it's almost like a nice tone.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so that did design-wise what they intended, right?
Exactly. Yep. They totally. It's a hit right there.
Okay, and then this guy, I guess, what do you stack the cookies in here?
Yep. You can put that right up onto, say, your pegboard, onto your wall, and then you just kind of load these right into place, and you can just grab them and go. In fact, you can put 4 on each side.
Yep.
So now you've got them all set.
And then what about
the cookie
these
jar?
guys?
These ones, well, if you've got the clips on them, you have to undo the clip, and then you can load them into there.
Yeah.
But
And then these?
and those right there, this is for a T-track system.
Yeah.
Again, it's just a riser, so if you have a T-track system, you can put it into place.
Yep.
You, as soon as you snug it in, it's nice and tight, and now you again have that risers.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's then talk about the quality of it.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine what would happen short of just grinding into it with a router bit or hitting it with a blade, right?
And even then, it's just giving it some more character. That's about it. They
Sure.
are really solid. They're rugged, and yeah, if you cut into it, it's not going to do anything to the overall use of it. If anything, you're just going to have that little chunk off. They will still work like they're supposed to. I've put the friction pads into like sawdust, and they clean out with no problem at all.
Sure.
They work great. These are a little light, the actual cones, but to be quite honest with you, for the fact that you're just setting something on there and you're not pushing a lot of pressure and everything else, they're going to hold up. The same with the risers. Not concerned about that one bit.
Stout little fellows.
They are. I like stout.
All righty. Well, now let's then talk about the value proposition.
Okay.
I guess, is this something that you would recommend for all woodworkers at the price?
The cookies themselves, I have recommended in the past, and I still will recommend them. I think they're a nice little addition to any shop, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of routing freehand.
Sure.
When it comes to the accessories, most people that I know are going to be using workbenches, but a lot of guys are just getting their shop set up, so these little saw clips would work great for that if they're going to work off of sawhorses. So yes, overall, I have no problem recommending any of these things to anybody who's going to ask about them.
Cool. All right. Well, you know what? He's been at it for these many years and has tested this out for us and come back with his opinion about the performance, design, quality, and value. And so now we've given you a good base of comparison and a point to operate from as you try to figure out which tool is right for you. Grab that cookie.
I love all these little bit. All these.
Nice. I know.